One thing that on the topic of the US actually, and it's now, I think it's made its way over to the pond, and we've brought this up on a couple episodes, but as somebody that is definitely more fitness oriented, and a question that we definitely have is about this new trending drug called Ozempic.
Oh shit, yeah.
I've done it.
You've done it. You've taken it.
So imagine this, right?
Okay, we finally have an open user.
Yeah. So I did a video about it, like literally just ripping into it. Classic PT. PT does video against Ozempic. And then this one guy in the comments left this real constructive comment. Hi, James, love your stuff. Like flattered me. And he goes, but you are wrong about this. But the way he said it, I was like, oh, like he wasn't criticizing me. It was the most respectful way of saying you're wrong. So I was like, fuck it. So I went to a clinic in Australia, went through the doctor's process. I'd got peptides from them before for an injury. I took some BPC 157. So I went in for Ozempic, and I was actually honest with him. I was like, I'm 97 kg. In an ideal world, I'd like to be 92. And because of my weight, I'm classified as obese on the BMI. Fine, doctor, we're going to prescribe you semaglutide, which is the main ingredient of Ozempic. Came in the post, get your syringes. So the Sunday night I took, I can't remember the exact dose, but it was the starting dose. A little bit into subcutaneous, which means under the skin. You got injections that go intramuscular or subcutaneous. Yeah. And it was, I'm pretty sure it was 0.1 on a syringe needle. So a very small amount. The next morning I woke up and I was like, this hasn't worked. No different, whatever. And we have these like microwave meals in Australia called My Muscle Chef. And I heated one up and I ate like half and I kind of just put it down or put it away. And then 5 minutes later, I was like, oh, I've never done that. I've never not finished a meal. Like, if anything, when I see people leave food on their plates, I'm like, you're a psychopath. Like, what went wrong in your childhood?
Yeah, like, you couldn't eat with me and Chip then.
Yeah, no. You'd be taking the food off our plates.
Yeah. People would have thought I grew up with like 10 brothers, like fighting for food. I eat so far. I'm a pig, right? And so I was like, oh, that's interesting. Then the next day, I was flying to Gold Coast, and I ate like conservatively the day before, but I remember my missus, like we always have a bit of chocolate after dinner. As I'm putting the plates in the dishwasher, I need a bit of chocky. Didn't have any. She goes, do you want some? I was like, oh, I'm all right, but didn't think anything of it. The next day, flying to Queensland, and I'm in the lounge, and usually in the lounge, croissants, coffees, you know what it's like. You know, especially when you wake up early for a flight.
Yep.
I had half an apple, and I was content. And at this point, my missus is starting to be like, are you all right? And I was like, I don't know. And I was just eating a little bit less. And then the weight started dropping off. In the end, in 2 weeks, I lost 4.7 kilograms.
Whoa.
A lot of that, yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
A lot of that would be water, it would be glycogen.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's always this nagging voice in my head. The reason I got into fitness and fat loss was because I have a very big appetite. I love food. I'm very emotionally drawn to food. If I'm unhappy, I want to eat. If I'm happy, I want to eat. Like, sometimes just walking through the kitchen, I'm like, where did this plain bread wrap come from that I'm eating? I'm just
spawned it into
I'm just trying to make myself happy, you know, like I just want to be happy. And so that just kind of all went away. But the voice in my head that was like, oh, have this or this would be nice, just died. And suddenly, you know, when you go shopping on a full stomach, you buy healthy stuff, but when you're hungry, you buy shit. The part of you that wants to buy shit was just quiet. It was just gone. And I was like, I'm so wrong about this drug. There were no cravings, nothing. So then this sounds really rosy. Oh my God, this is amazing, whatever. And I said to Chris about it, I go, oh mate, I'm doing Ozempic. It's fucking amazing. He goes, check your resting heart rate. And my resting heart rate had just lifted from, I got it down to like 45 beats a minute on my Whoop. It was up to like 50, 51, 52, like chronically elevated. So he was like, the mechanisms of how it works is well studied, but it's definitely not without side effects or whatever. And at this point I was like, oh, it's great. But then one day I was like, I haven't eaten protein in like 3 days. And I'm super paranoid of getting like an injury or just underfeeding protein in general, muscle wastage, whatever. So when I wasn't hungry, I necked a protein shake and I was ill for 2 hours. Like literally like, oh my God, I've tried eating when I'm not hungry and it's fucked me up. Like 2 hours walking around the house, like I feel really unwell.
Like a stomach cramp feeling?
Yeah, just nauseous as fuck.
Okay.
And I never get nauseous after I eat. I do the food challenges, Beard does food. I'm like, yeah, I'm full, but I'm not nauseous. And I was like, oh, this stuff's not to be fucked with, because I had to stop at 2 weeks because I was losing weight too fast. If I get down to 89, 88, first of all, I look a bit gaunt. And second of all, if I got injured, I would not have forgiven myself. But the fact that it plays onto that part, it's a GLP-1 agonist, it slows down your digestion, and it like pretty much doesn't just kill your hunger, it kills your cravings. And it makes it so easy to diet. When I went into that experiment, I was like, oh, this is going to be shit afterwards. Now, whenever I see anyone over 120, 130 kg, my first thought is Ozempic. Because for me, if I got a negative side effect from it, would it have been worth it? No. But if someone's 140 kilograms and they get a side effect, was it worth it? Yes. Because objectively, we know that the three main killers, cardiovascular disease, stroke, heart attack, like they're your main three. And being obese is literally one of the biggest predictors of this. Again, we're not speaking about COVID enough, that the comorbidities of the COVID deaths, a lot of them was to do with obesity. But we're in this world where you can't hurt anyone's feelings. And now, like, I actually think it's one of the biggest breakthroughs that we've made. And everyone thought I'd been bought off by fucking pharma. But I genuinely think that this is like a medicine that can change people's lives. And again, like when you've got a headache, ibuprofen, paracetamol, these drugs don't come without risks. When you look at the things that kill people, alcohol is way above so many things, considered okay by society. Then you've got like aspirin related deaths or whatever, still significantly there. So I think that if there's some nuance, right? If someone is eating themselves to death, to an early death, which they will, there was like 4 or 5 body positivity influencers that all died before they were 35. These were like, oh, you can love yourself, health at every size, boom, dead, 35. Whenever I see these people now, I literally would love to get like a bit of Ozempic and like an umbrella tip. Just go up, boop, just once a week, just jab them.
Yeah.
Without consent.
And is it expensive? Was it expensive for you when you went?
Oh, no, it was like £300. Considering a gram of Coke in Australia is 150 quid.
Yeah.
You know, people are like, oh, Ozempic, it's so expensive. I'm like, mate, you can afford a bag of Coke and 10 vodka Red Bulls in a nightclub. You can take Ozempic. And that vial would have lasted me like 10, 15 weeks on my dose, maybe even more.
Okay.
And so are you injecting this once a week?
Once a week.
Wow.
And after the first week, I was like, oh, a little bit hesitant about it. The second week, I did it. And about 2 days later, I actually regretted it. I was like, I shouldn't have done that. But I did get a banger of a video out of it. I made it the miracle fat loss drug. I can't remember. I played it quite well and I blurred it out. Did the thumbnail with 2 pictures.
Smashed it.
Put the syringe in my mouth. You know,
classic.
Yeah. So it's actually, I actually genuinely think it's fucking amazing. I think a lot of fitness people hate it because it's going to put them out.
So just to get this right, it really lowers your desire to eat food.
Because imagine this, we've got so many fat people, right, that are there going, oh, it's my metabolism. Oh, it's this, it's that. And they're like, oh, whatever. You give them Ozempic, they lose 30 kilograms. And you're like, hold on. If it was a metabolism related issue that you had, then if you ate less, your problems wouldn't have gone away. But they seem to think that they have a metabolism issue. But then when we give you something that makes you eat less, you drop loads of fat. So therefore, the problem was you were overeating the amount of food that you were consuming. So the side effects are bad. Muscle wastage is a big problem.
Right.
It's very difficult.
And did you notice that when you were on
I look back at pictures now and I'm like, I don't look good. I look lean.
Yeah.
But I was looking at my abs coming through and ignoring the fact I lost an inch off my arms.
Right.
My performance, I would say, didn't get that much worse, but it was 2 weeks. You know, like, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But if people are going to do it, one, they need to do it through a doctor. They need to, you know, make sure they're getting like medical grade stuff, not stuff off the internet. They need to work so hard with weight training and eating as much protein as they can to offset the muscle wastage. And yeah, you would have to be really careful of things like injuries. If I had a client that was taking it, I might put the majority of their programming on machines where they're safe, pin loaded, especially if you've been in extreme calorie deficit for a long period of time, maybe coordination, things like that could be impacted. But
so just, sorry, it stops you eating, raises your resting heart rate. But
that could have just been me.
Right.
I've not seen too much like literature about that, but for me, that did wig me out a bit.
Yeah. Because I was going to say that surely can't be a great side effect, right? Obviously, it is going to cause you to burn more.
If you were to say that taking Ozempic semi-regularly would shorten your life by 10 years, for a lot of people, that's a good deal. Because they're looking at losing 25 to 30 with their current lifestyle.
Right, okay. I get it.
They're looking at heart attack at 40.
Yeah, sure.
For me to shave 10 years off, maybe not such a good deal, or yourself. It now is being used by people in the fitness industry, especially where competing in physique and, you know, I hate physique competitions and bodybuilders that do it purely because I think that your fitness journey should take you towards feeling better. And those bodybuilders that do it definitely do not feel better. They physiologically and psychologically run themselves down to the point their dick doesn't work. They get on stage and fake tan with a smile, and then you see them like binging on the donuts afterwards. And I'm like, cool fucking hobby, bro. But now that these people can now take something so they don't have to suffer, that was pretty much the main virtue in it, was how much suffering you could put up with before the day that you tensed and pretended to be happy. Yeah. So, but it will be abused.
Let's say you get, I'm 120 kg. I'm on this for however many weeks. I managed to get myself down to 90. I lost 30 kg. Do you then come off this? And when you do, are you not just going to revert back to your previous ways?
A lot of people will.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because we can put them back on it. So, back up to 110, get the fucking semaglutide back in you, right? And that does seem like a problem, but actually, type 1 diabetic mate always needs insulin every single day. So to us, to give someone medicine again, like I was on antibiotics for a staph infection, I will have to go back on, and antibiotics fuck you up. So there are so many medicines that objectively aren't good for you long term. But some of the benefits are, these people that lose the weight and get down to say 90 kilograms, they've now spent 3 months knowing what the right amount of food looks like. And when they go, fucking hell, I could just eat this, and maintain that body weight, they realize how much they were overeating, because so many overweight people are actually really blissfully unaware of how much they're consuming. So in America, people think they've got a metabolism problem. The average person eats about 3,500 calories a day in America, and the average person burns about 1,000 calories less than that.
Yeah.
It is literally that simple. And people will think whatever it is, it's because I'm drinking tap water, it's phthalates and the fucking pesticides. Bro, you eat too much.
What were the energy levels like on it? Because obviously you're just consuming less. Yeah.
But so you could argue that they're actually consuming the right amount.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It will probably be less, but then the fat they're losing is being used. So that energy deficit is being filled by body fat. So although usually it was just hunger, and the hunger that is the problem is your body's homeostasis. When you're losing weight, like people are like, I lost 2 kilograms this week, but the next week I only lost 1. And I'm like, yeah, if you continue to lose 2 kilograms a week, you'd be dead in fucking 4 months, mate. And so I'm like, your body has to have these homeostatic responses to stop it, because even when they are massive, when they start losing weight, the body's self-defense system will kick in and be like, hold on a second. But the thing is, if you think about our mechanisms that we have, the majority of human existence have been fucking hungry. So we should get excited around food. So the problem is that we have this primitive mindset and this omnipresence of food. You can't fill up your car with petrol without 5,000 different snacks, all refrigerated, all wrapped, all looking perfect, all in date. And what have you got to do to get those calorie dense foods? You've got to wave your phone over a fucking device.
Yeah.
And hear a beep. And now you've got access to as many calories as you want. People used to have to work for that. So our brain is still out there. Like, people seem to think that hunter-gatherers are going to pick at a fucking berry bush and be like, I'm satiated, I'm leaving the rest. No, you're having everything you fucking can. If someone comes over, you kill them to get their berries. So we've got this really primitive mindset. And because it's easier for us to change that person's eating habits than it is to change the environment. And for a lot of them, there of course will be negatives with extreme weight loss, but the positives are that the human body is not optimized to carry that much excess tissue, whether muscle or fat. That's why big bodybuilders have heart attacks as well. They see hypertrophy of the heart, which is the heart growing because it is a muscle, and they just have a lot of tissue where the body has to work hard to supply nutrients to it all the fucking time. And the same goes for fat, because it is still active tissue. So your body, it's like sitting in your car and just revving it at 5,000 revs and just seeing how long it will go until the engine fucking gives up. It's literally that. So I think the drug is amazing. If people do gain the weight back, they can go back on the drug. But eventually, for so many people, they will find a way to make it work. And the ones that don't have any willpower and aren't willing to do the work, keep them on the fucking drug.